What do you think of Jill Biden's role here and her responsibilities?
I think she's been exposed as a power-hungry aspirant herself to political power. She is on the cover of Vogue magazine right now.
Yeah.
Why? Because she wants to promote herself. She tweeted out a photo of herself sitting in the president's chair not long ago when he was preparing for the G7 meeting with his chair hanging over the back of his chair. She's not the damn president. Get out of the chair. No one wants you at the G7. No one elected you to lead us politically.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an oldie but a goodie. Pre-Kamala Harris being selected as the nominee and post-Trump and Biden's third debate, because this is the 2024 election cycle, when we all thought it was going to be them again, the rematch of the century. We got to see Trump's administration and Biden's administration back to back, and who do we want to see in office for this second term for one or the other? And obviously we never got to see that because they booted him out and put Kamala in, but we see some of the responses from people within the Biden administration, specifically Jill Biden, Joe Biden's wife, who had some words to say and a behavior that she wanted to portray to the world in terms of how Joe Biden was reacting, how good he was, and yada, yada, yada. We all knew she was lying, and she was exposed by Megyn Kelly, and we're going to go into that and into how things went on after everything went down. But before we get into that, I wanted to remind you guys to subscribe to RTA News to ensure to YouTube that you are enjoying our videos, and so they'll continually show up in your feed, and then they'll push it out to more people as well. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
Fawning coverage.
I mean, we're assuming Biden is going to be replaced. It's not happened yet. And of course, if he digs his heels in and says, I'm not going anywhere, then it may be they can't do it, under the rules of the Democratic Party. Where does Jill Biden sit in all this, Dr. Biden? Because I watched that debate from start to finish with a mounting sense of real bemusement why any spouse, a younger spouse in particular, would allow their older, beloved other half to be humiliated like that on a global stage. And she must have known that this was highly likely to happen, because from all the reports now coming out, as the media finally takes its blinkers off, this is not a one-off. This has been what he's been like quite regularly.
I'm sorry, no. Not the media taking their blinkers off. They weren't aware of how incompetent and cognitively impaired Biden was. They had no clue. No, they didn't take their blinkers off. They intentionally lied to the American public about his mental state because they didn't want Trump in office, and they didn't care that if we got freaking pummeled into the ground by this current economy and inflation and gas prices and grocery, everything just being so insanely expensive and everything being so hard for the American people. They didn't care that those things happened as long as Trump wasn't in office. So they didn't take any blinkers off. They were just exposed for the liars that they were, because they didn't have the excuse of pandemic and Joe being able to hide in his basement and not do interviews like he had to this time, or even just go to a debate. Absolutely not. We don't give him a pass on that. But continue, Piers.
Regularly in the last few months and 2 years or so. What do you think of Jill Biden's role here and her responsibilities?
I think she's been exposed as a power-hungry aspirant herself to political power. She is on the cover of Vogue magazine right now.
Yeah.
Why? Because she wants to promote herself. She tweeted out a photo of herself sitting in the president's chair not long ago when he was preparing for the G7 meeting with his chair hanging over the back of his chair. She's not the damn president. Get out of the chair. No one wants you at the G7. No one elected you to lead us politically. And a couple of years ago, I did a bit that went viral on how she insists on being called Dr. Jill Biden everywhere. And all these left-wingers got upset with me. She is a doctor. She's got her PhD. She's in education, what have you. I don't make fun of that degree. My own father had that degree. But my father would never have insisted somebody call him Dr. Kelly. He went by professor, and that was a title he'd earned. Why does she insist on it? Because she's power hungry. Because she has a small, fractured ego that she needs built up. She needs the affirmation of strangers to give her an honorarium. That really means almost nothing. The only people who get to be called doctor legitimately, I understand, no disparaging of the degree, are medical doctors. If you can't say yes, I will resuscitate him when he has a heart attack on a plane. Stop using that label.
That's a bar. I'm sorry. It had to be said. And here's the thing. People get their honorary doctorates, people get their PhDs, and they're actually, get the title doctor. But in all honesty, if all of you are honorary doctorates and are PhD doctors, we're at a restaurant, and there was medical doctors there as well, and someone starts choking on something, they can't breathe. They're doctors, they're a doctor. Is any of those people that aren't the medical doctor raising their hand and saying, "Oh, I'll help"? No. And that's what people think when they hear doctor. They just do. Your mind immediately goes to white lab coat and some, what do you call them? I'm literally drawing a blank, but those things that you put in your ear and you put on someone's heart. That's what people think of. Think of a scalpel. You think of a doctor, a medical doctor. And so when you get the doctor at the beginning of your name, whether it be a honorary doctorate or a PhD, it's like, you want the implication that you are this educated or this intelligent. Not saying that PhD people aren't, they obviously are, but like you want this gravitas or this standard or statute that it doesn't matter, and it's not necessary to even be upheld because you're not a doctor, and that's what people think of. They think of a medical doctor when they think of a doctor. So I actually agree with that sentiment. But yes, you can still have your doctor title, but it's just like, we all know what a doctor is.
When you get introduced at a book club or on The View, which is what she does, all right? And I do think it's tied to what we're seeing now, the big reveal about her. She's power hungry. She wants it. What did we see from her on debate night? We saw her take the stage and guide the president of the United States down the stairs like a mama would of a toddler, like you and I both did when our kids were babies. And then after the debate, that clip that was everywhere with her saying, "You did it. You answered all the questions." Again, speaking to her the way I speak to my dog when he sits on command.
It really was.
This is the leader of the free world. She knows how infirm he is. She wants a shadow presidency. And let me tie it to one other thing. The reports are out this week that...
Hold on. That was one of the funniest things that ever happened. When she said, Joe walking Joe off the debate stage. And he goes, "You did it, Joe. You answered all the questions."
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
Like he is a 3 to 5 year old child. And then goes to the crowd, "And what did Trump do? Why?"
And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Why?
Oh, that was so funny. But it's like, yeah, she treated him like the incompetent buffoon that he is. And that kind of like sealed the deal for us as Americans. It's like, no, we don't want this person. That's why he was kicked out and they put someone else in.
this week that Hunter Biden,
I know, this is incredible that he's advising him.
is at the White House and attending all the meetings with the president.
A
As
crackhead.
what, our new shadow president? Right, exactly. Because Joe Biden can't do it. And so on deck is the drug-addled, corrupt felon son? Hard no. This whole family needs to be bounced out of this office. And I think even the Democrats are starting to realize it.
That's funny. And it's true. People were kind of like, they're calling them the Biden crime family, right? They were saying all these negative things about them. They aren't it. People don't want it. People are over it. And obviously this administration has been terrible. And here's the thing. I don't know why we thought Kamala Harris was going to be in place. She literally is second in command of this current administration that we are trying to get out of here. And we will get out of here in the next month or so. And so after these events, after the debate, they kick Biden out. They select Kamala Harris. He endorses her because he knows there's no way she's going to win. And the Democratic Party is probably infuriated about it. But good for Biden because he said, if you're going to do that to me, I'm sabotaging the future of the Democratic Party, as he should. And then we had Trump versus Harris, and Harris got $1 billion just to fail. But it's actually absolutely insane. And it's so funny because Joe Biden was like saying all this stuff about Trump being bad and Biden did so good answering the questions. And then when the coup happened and Kamala Harris was installed, what did she do? She wore a red dress on voting day on November 5th. She wore a red dress. We had Biden clearly sabotaging by wearing the MAGA hat. You don't wear that when you're sitting there trying to help your VP become the president. You don't wear the opposition's hat. You don't call his people garbage when you know it's going to help. And at the latter half of the election cycle, like you knew that was going to help us. Like they voted for us. Do I have any proof? No, but I'm for sure they did, right? It's crazy. And then we see the pictures of Jill and Trump lately smiling all happy. Joe had never looked happier in his life than he was when he was talking about the peaceful transfer of power to Trump and good luck to you coming back and I hope you do all that stuff. Come on, get out of here. Almost like he wasn't a threat to democracy. Who knows? I don't know. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down your thoughts below. I want to know what you guys think and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.